A conversation I have found myself having frequently, honestly, in my personal life, with friends, with family members, with me and my husband, that I wanted to bring here because I think it actually probably relates to a lot of us, is this idea of, well, what will it cost you? And some of the context in which I've been having this conversation is with friends or family who are making life decisions, or they're not really sure about if we should do this, or now, or later, or do I do anything at all? And so I think this concept, what really just clicked for me was kind of asking myself, well, what does it cost me if we do this option? And what does it cost me if we do this option? Right? And that just helped me, and as well as some of my friends and family through these conversations, evaluate where the values are. Evaluate where I might have some blind spots. Evaluate where it might be a hard thing, but the right thing. And so I wanted just to bring that to a conversation and hope that that sheds light for you. So for example, oftentimes I'm working with people, whether in the professional space or in my personal life, we're talking through the relational dynamics, right? So let's bring it to a marriage component. I'm married, and maybe there are some hard points in my marriage. There are some stuck points in my marriage, and I don't know what to do about it. Like, do we just hope that time will repair some stuff or change some stuff? Or, right, so like, what's the cost of me not doing anything and just hoping time helps? And what's the cost of me doing something? I read a new book. I find a therapist. I join a support group. I share this vulnerable dynamic with one trusted friend, right? What is the cost both ways? All right. So let's say I do nothing, and I really just hope we're both good people, and eventually it'll just kind of work out. Well, the cost of that is you risk years from now, months from now, nothing changes. Right? The cost to you is staying in that pattern, is staying, I'm going to fill in the blanks with some random words, staying unseen, staying stuck, staying, dissatisfied, uncomfortable, disconnected in these relationships, right? In this context, as an example, we're talking about marriage, right? So it's going to cost me that. Like, okay, well, then we just have 5 more years under our belt of this same thing. That's pretty costly too. Now, that might feel like the easier route of like, well, I'll just deal. The other route, right? I do something about it. Let me use a big example. We start counseling. I start counseling. He or she starts counseling, right? One of the spouses or both of the spouses. We go see a counselor about this. That will also cost you. Well, 1, it'll cost you finances, right? It's not a free service. 2, it'll cost you maybe your comfort, right? Because now I actually have to talk about these things. I actually have to share some of these hard, vulnerable, messy, maybe ugly things with another person, and maybe in front of my spouse, right? If we're doing, let's say, couples counseling, it's going to cost me that too. It's going to cost likely getting worse before it gets better, because things don't typically get better without a worse before better component, especially when it comes to relationships, because we've got to dig through stuff. We've got to uncover some stuff in order to move towards deeper connection, move towards healing, move towards health in our relationships, in our marriage. And so I wanted just to bring that concept to the table because I have found it to be fruitful for myself. I found it to be fruitful for friendships in my life as we're just talking through real life, tricky, hard, uncomfortable things. And so I wanted to bring that question to you, and I wonder where that might land for you. I wonder where that might resonate, right? Okay, what's the cost if I continue to parent my child in this way? Okay, evaluate that. What does it cost me if I put in some different work right now? Okay, it could be uncomfortable, growing pains. I don't feel like I'm a perfect parent. I'm going to struggle as I try to figure out this new way of parenting or disciplining differently or optimizing connection, which is kind of awkward for me because connection's not my strength, right? There's going to be a cost either way, and you have to decide which one's more valuable, which one's actually more costly, which one brings more life or health in the end. And there's no one formula for that, but I hope that that leads you to feeling like you have maybe a better plan to make decisions, right? Maybe a new filter to assess big decisions, little decisions. And I hope it's guided by ultimately your values underneath that.